Hey y'all, I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate. We're Real Estate Elevated. We're bringing you a shorts edition of our series, I'm moving to North Carolina, now what? So we're going to be talking about how to properly investigate a property. What should you be looking at? What should you be reading? And also maybe what's not included in the package of information you're being provided. So the first place to start is what we call an MLS hot sheet. So this is the information that's been plugged in by the listing agent into what the general public sees. Now keep in mind, in our MLS, there is a little secret section called agent only notes. It's really important that your agent is sharing some of that information with you, because sometimes there's little added gems that are only placed in that area. Sometimes there could be info in there that really doesn't matter or pertain, like maybe how to access the lockbox so that they don't hold earnest money, but sometimes it might be in a flood zone and that's where they list it. So be sure to check that out. Something to be looking for in the MLS hot sheet is the age of the home. There are certain things, and this is in another video we've done, depending on the decade that the home was built, there might be some added things you need to investigate and look at. Also look at room info, the layout, the age of systems, or even the HOA information. Are you going to have to listen to anybody's rules, or are there covenants that are local to the area? The second place is going to be the disclosures. The disclosures are going to be documents that are uploaded that your agent can access and then share with you via PDF. Those disclosures here in North Carolina are kind of like the backstory that the seller is sharing with you on, again, the age of the systems. Is there anything that you should know about the property, as far as maybe they put yes on the document, that there's an issue with plumbing. Anytime you see a yes, there should be a deeper explanation at the bottom on page 4 of the document that's going to give a little explanation. Sometimes sellers will put no or no rep. If you consistently see the word no rep, which means no representation, throughout the document, you could be dealing with one of two scenarios. The seller genuinely doesn't know anything, and so they're just not attesting to it, or maybe they do know and they're not willing to state. Remember, the agent is held to a higher standard and does have to disclose anything that's a material fact. Also, if you're dealing with an investor seller, if they haven't lived in the home, they may not have that information. So again, you might see that no representation. A big one that we've run into as of lately is covenants. So if you see that the covenants are not there, so the answer is no in that MLS hot sheet, always double check the information. I cannot tell you the number of times that we've pulled up other homes that have sold on that street in that neighborhood and come to find out there actually are covenants. Remember, these are rules that you're bound to on how you can use the land, what you can add to the property, and a big one, can I have my micro farm, my chickens on my new home? So if that's something you're interested in, you always want to vet that information. Sometimes sellers don't know, but covenants are a material fact that do have to be disclosed. Another really important one is GIS mapping. So having geographical information systems at the ready. Wake County actually has a great one. It's both an app as well as web-based, and GIS mapping is going to show you a lot of things. Some really important ones are you within a mile of a voluntary ag district? You want to know, is it poultry or pigs or something else that maybe you have to worry about runoff? Is there enough space where you're not going to be listening to noise constantly from that, or is it just plants that they're harvesting? That's a big one, as well as local schools. Are you going to be transplanting yourself right next to a school? So what does that matter? Well, noise is a big factor. If you're not a big fan of Friday night lights, it might matter to you that the football stadium's in your backyard. Another one is school traffic. Are you going to constantly have to fight the school traffic every time you exit your neighborhood or the road that that neighborhood is off of? Another big one is, are you close to major highways, power lines? Are there any type of easements, or even train tracks that you can see from looking at the aerial footage on those GIS maps? So pay attention to those details. But one other pro tip for you guys is look at what is not represented in all the information you have at the ready. If there's something that you still kind of have an open-ended question on, it has not been defined or answered, ask the seller, ask the agent. Now in North Carolina, they may not have to legally plug certain things into that MLS listing, but if asked, they are required to respond. Another pro tip, always make sure if you do get something verbally stated, always follow it up with an email and make sure that it is followed up in writing. So I'm Laura Richardson, and when you're investigating a property, these are the steps that you should follow. All right, y'all, thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on Instagram as well as YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts. Again, I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate.